For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Anisha Labelle. How's it going today?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm glad I didn't butcher your name. I usually ask beforehand, but I thought I had it this time, so...
No, you got it perfect. You're good.
Luckily, it didn't backfire. Usually, sometimes it does, and I was like, as I'm doing the intro, I'm like, oh, I should have asked, make sure, but... We're here. We're not stopping. Let's go. And so,
you're on a roll. So
yep.
It's all good.
Yep. Really excited to chat with you and get to know more about you. I was watching your music video for Trip the other day, and it was really cool, and I really enjoyed it and been listening to your music all weekend. So really excited to learn more about you and what you got going on.
Thank you.
So before we kind of jump into the music that you've been releasing, let's kind of take a step back and give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to everybody that's kind of meeting you for this first time, kind of give a background story of what got you into music.
Yeah, sure. I'm Anisha Labelle. I am, oh, wow. That's a loaded question. So I guess I will say I started making music when I was little, not like a baby, but obviously like when I was in kind of like middle schoolish, high schoolish, I was making like, some little tracks on I would just release it on Instagram and on YouTube and stuff, nothing super serious. But yeah, as of recently, like within the past, I think it's already been like a year and a half, is when I started like releasing music more professionally because, I just realized after years and years of singing and doing different choirs and musicals and releasing my own music and stuff like that, like music is just my passion. So yeah, I've just been singing forever and decided to turn it into something a little bit more, but it's been about like a year and a half.
Awesome. What was there like an initial point that you realized that you could do more with music than just like doing it for fun, like it could actually be a career?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually went to college for like a semester in Canada because I have dual citizenship. So I kind of wanted to get I've grown up in Pennsylvania my entire life, and I wanted to get kind of like as far away from here as possible. And so I went to Canada for a semester, and then I was kind of just like doing my thing there and realizing that wow, this is not what I want to do with my life. And I was in business classes, and it just was not, if you're not passionate about what you're learning about, it really just becomes like a chore, and you start to kind of resent everything and not kind of want to move forward with what you're doing. And, even when I was there in college, I would still make music. And that was always the one thing that I kind of turned back to after, all of the times of being lost. And so, I kind of realized that I wanted to come back home. I wanted to start new and fresh again and just kind of recreate myself in a way that's more tailored to me and more tailored to what I want to do with my life. And yeah, I think a lot of people have kind of a similar mindset nowadays where it's just they don't want to be doing something that's not making them happy. And I am definitely one of those people. So that was my turning point, just kind of leaving, coming back home and being all right, let's retry this. Let's do something that I'm passionate about and putting all of my effort and energy into something that I care about. So for
sure. So you're originally from Canada then, I take it, right?
No, I'm not. I'm from Pennsylvania. I was born here. I have dual citizenship because my dad is from Canada and he was born in Canada.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so, so I got that automatically, and I decided to go to college in Canada for some reason. Not sure why, but that's what I did.
Gotcha. I thought the way you were kind of wording it, I thought maybe you were born in Canada, but shortly after you were born there, you came here. Okay. Now I get it.
No, I mean, that would be pretty sick if I was born in Canada, not going to lie, but nope. Pennsylvania.
Gotcha. Cool. So as you were kind of going through this process of becoming a musician, even though you probably secretly were prior, who are some of the musicians that you were listening to as you were kind of trying to develop your sound or your style or?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a huge like pop woman. I love all of the like just kind of like the main women of pop. Like I remember at least growing up, I really liked let me think about it. I really loved Selena Gomez. I loved watching Victorious. That was like my favorite show. So I was just like, I just want to do that like forever. And I loved let me think, I'll kind of fast forward to now who I listen to now. I'm a big fan of Dua Lipa. I love her music. I love Ariana Grande. I love Doja Cat. She's amazing. And I really love how a lot of those artists kind of, especially with Doja Cat, she takes like rap and she combines it with kind of more of a pop sound. And it's just like incredible, like the way she kind of like switches from a verse to a melody so quickly. It's just like amazing and it flows so well. And, I love to emulate like the different artists who I love their sounds, like use some of their kind of like, I don't know, like their vibes to create your own kind of like amalgamation. What is that word?
Amalgamation.
Yeah, whatever that word is of all those people into like your own kind of like person, I guess. So yeah.
That's really cool. And so you're based out of Pennsylvania. What's the hip? Well, I'll just say pop. What's the pop scene like in Pennsylvania? Because it seems more like bluegrass country, or is that kind of a stereotype in Pennsylvania?
It's well, at least from where I'm from, because you'll get that kind of more country feel, like more on the, I don't even know what the like sides are, but more on like the countryside of Pennsylvania. I live more on like the Philly side of Pennsylvania. Okay. And so there's a lot of like rap going on here. I remember because I went to Philly a lot to record. And so I would like, meet a lot of different artists, and there was always a big rap influence over here. And it's awesome because there's so many talented people here. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely have a lot of, like rap influence in my music and R&B influences, but I would say I'm mainly like a pop girl. So unfortunately, there's not a whole lot going on in the pop scene here, but it is nice because it's kind of different, to kind of bring that into here. But yeah, it's super rap influenced in this area.
For sure. Do you have do you have aspirations of going somewhere else, or do you kind of see yourself staying in Pennsylvania?
I would love to go somewhere else. Honestly, I love it here. It's served its purpose in my life, but it's just, there's been so many memories here and stuff that I'm kind of ready to like start a new chapter somewhere else, and get it right this time, not come back after like a few months. So, but yeah.
I mean, honestly, though, going to Canada and going to school for that semester, even though like right now, it seems like that wasn't the right move. Those we'll say 6 months that you were there, I guarantee you there was something you learned while you were there, whether it was about yourself, about life in general. And you'll look back at that and be like, oh yeah, that 6 months I spent in Canada, that was random, but I remember.
Yeah, right. So. No, I wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly. Like every experience you have just kind of helps you know yourself a little bit more. And it really kind of helped me determine, okay, this is what I want to do and this is what I don't want to do. And, if I hadn't gone through that experience, I wouldn't have known that. So you're completely right about that. And yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for everything that I kind of went through during that time. But yeah, we'll see where it takes me next.
For sure. And so you've been, obviously with the pandemic, it's kind of made releasing music and all that stuff interesting and performing music, but you've been able to get out a few singles over the last year, we'll say about a year or so. So what's that kind of whole process like, since you're still, I was going to say relatively new, you're still new in the music business because it's been a year and a half, you said?
Yeah.
What's kind of the process been like of recording music, releasing music for you?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the first thing that I came out with was an EP. Mm-hmm. And so I did that at a studio. Not sure. I think I remember wearing a mask doing that. So it was pandemic times when I did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super interesting. It was my first time ever actually like professionally recording music before. So it was a really cool experience. And after that, because personally, like when I was making music when I was younger, I would do it all by myself, like just with, my little microphone and my little computer and stuff like that. So I didn't really kind of have any professional way of doing that. And so after I did my EP, I kind of decided to take things into my own hands again. And I, made my own little home recording studio type situation. And I was recording at home and, learning the different softwares that you could use. And I actually ended up taking like a 6-month audio engineering course. So I could learn professionally how to use the software that I was working with. And it was so helpful. It was amazing because, having a one-on-one kind of a teacher is a lot easier than just researching on YouTube and trying to figure it out yourself, right?
It's better to have somebody kind of direct you than it's like, oh, I need to know how to do this. Let's go to YouTube and start figuring it out. But
like struggling to find the answer for like hours. This is not helpful. So yeah, it was amazing getting to do that. And I got to work with the person that I was recording with. So it was awesome because we already kind of had that connection. But yeah, it just helps so much. And now like I could make like the same amount of songs that I could do in like weeks, like before. So my kind of like quickness of it has really like went up since then. And yeah, I record right now in my home, and I just kind of prefer that just because you can have your own flow, do it whenever you want, kind of work at your own pace. But yeah, I would actually love to record in a studio again sometime because I kind of miss it. It was really nice.
Yeah. Well, and I've started to see this a lot where musicians are learning the recording process and more of the production end. And I've always thought that was a really good thing for musicians to understand, because once you get into the studio, you kind of understand, like, even if you don't know like the most complex of theories, that's what the engineer's for. Like, he understands these complex theories. But if you know like the basics and you know how to communicate with him, saying, hey, I'm hearing this in my headphones, and you know how to describe it, instead of I'm hearing like a noise, and it's like, okay, or if you feel like your voice is a little thin or a little too thick, like whatever the thing is, you're at least able to convey that to them and do it in a way that they understand instead of them trying to guess.
Exactly. No, I completely agree. I'm like super picky when it comes to like, recording vocals and everything like that and the final product. And so like, I always like, yeah, exactly. Like I would rather be in the studio and kind of have that like background knowledge instead of being like the lost puppy, like, what should I do? Tell me what to do next. You know what I mean? Where I can be like, no, okay, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. And like, it just kind of makes things like a little more smooth and professional in my opinion. So
yeah, for sure.
It's helpful.
So the EPPS that was recorded in studio, but then all the singles afterwards. So Underwater, Trip, and your new single Secret. And then the Trip remix was that was all recorded in your home studio?
Underwater was in my home studio. I recorded and produced that one myself. Same thing with Trip. And then the remix, I produced my side, and then the people I collaborated with produced their side. And then Secret was actually recorded in studio. Okay. It was supposed to be a part of PS, but after listening to it, I was like, I don't really want it to be a part of PS. I thought I was just going to get rid of it. But, as I mentioned, I was working, like my teacher for the audio engineering course was also the person who recorded me. And so I asked him, I was like, can I actually work on this again and like kind of tweak it to my best abilities? And then can I put that out as a single? And he was like, yeah, do it. It's your song. Do whatever you want with it. So we actually ended up like working on that like as a project in class, which was really cool. So yeah.
Awesome. And so since we're kind of on the topic of Secret, what's the story behind that song?
Yeah, so that song, it means a lot to me. I guess I'll just ask like a rhetorical question. Have you ever like really, kind of liked somebody so much that you just like can't tell them because you would just kind of like mess things up if you told them too much? That's kind of
Yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from. Yep.
That's kind of what that song is about. It's just kind of, like having so many feelings for somebody and, just having to kind of keep that all inside because, you don't want to share too much. You don't want to reveal too much too soon and kind of like, give away the mystery of it all. You kind of have to keep it a secret for a while and keep it to yourself until you kind of have a hold on your emotions and are able to convey that in a way that is meaningful. So that song is just kind of about, keeping it a secret until you know how to handle the situation.
Completely understood. And so that song was originally supposed to be a part of PS.
Yes.
This was a song that you recorded originally and then you went and reworked it, correct? Was I?
Yes.
Okay. How did the song change from the way it was originally recorded to the song that we hear now? What were some of the changes, or is it really that noticeable?
I mean, I don't know how noticeable it would be. There's definitely like with the vocals, there's a lot like we re-recorded a lot of the vocals so that I could kind of, because some of the words I'm super picky and I'll just kind of like re-record a million times till I get the way that I want. And so some of the words are changed and then I ended up adding some different effects and stuff. And we just kind of worked on making the song a little more like fluid than it was before. So, I mean, I guess if you didn't like hear the original version and you heard like the old version, you probably wouldn't really be able to tell much of a difference, but I can tell a difference for sure. So, yeah.
Would it almost be fair to say it went through like a natural maturing process? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. That's a good way to put it.
Because it's like a lot of like I've seen this with a lot of musicians where they have a song that they originally want to put somewhere and then they just don't think it's ready or it's right, but the song just needed to mature, whether that means the lyrics or like whatever that means to that artist. So it's really interesting to see what goes into the thought process of a musician when they say, oh nope, this song's not ready yet. So so that song is out. And when did you end up releasing that song? So a little bit.
October. It was like October something, 22nd, I think.
And what's the response been since you've released it?
Good. That song is actually, I think a lot of people ended up liking it. I really love it. It's super vibey, which is it's a little bit different than what I've done before, but I personally love that song because I think it conveys kind of my style in the best way than any of the other songs could have. It's a very like, I guess the best way would describe it would be like, I sing very fast so that I can kind of say everything that I need to say. And it has almost that kind of like rap influence, like R&B influence to it. And so, yeah, that's like, that song is just like, that's my style. Like, that's just kind of how it's going to be with me. So yeah, it tells a story and that's what I strive for in all of my songs.
For sure. It definitely feels natural. If that, like, just listening to you, like you could tell with some musicians where they're trying to force something to come out, but this Secret just kind of feels natural for you. And, like I couldn't quite put my finger on it originally, but at listening to you talk and speak about the entire process, it's like, nope, that's what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So you released a music video for the remix of Trip, correct?
Yes, correct.
Do you have plans for a music video for Secret or?
Actually, I don't have plans for a music video for Secret because there's a lot of other stuff coming this year, which I guess we'll like get into later. But yeah, the Trip music video, that was my first like real music video. I did like a little kind of a teaser video for Underwater. It was never like released as a professional or not professional, like a real music video, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trip was my first like actual music video that I've ever done, and it was just amazing. So,
and you guys filmed that on the side of a highway, it looks?
Yes, we did. We did. We did. We were going for road trip vibes, so if that kind of makes sense with the whole trip thing.
Nice. Well, because I kind of picked up on a couple of things. There was like one shot where I think you were getting into a car, but there was a dude standing outside the front door and he's looking down the road, like he's looking to make sure nobody's coming, or looking and like he's spotting just to make sure nobody gets injured. And I'm like, oh, I bet nobody in the world will notice that except me, because, you know, like I'd done film production and stuff, so I could just kind of pick up on these little instances of things.
Wait, I actually didn't even know that. I didn't even notice that myself.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there and like just where his eye direction is, he's looking down the road. And I'm like, I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just his nature. Like he's making sure nobody gets ran over. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting and funny. So
that's literally what he was doing. He was literally making sure nobody got ran over. So you were correct. That's what that was.
Sweet. So what was kind of the, obviously you mentioned that was your first music video, but what kind of went into the process? How much of it was your idea versus like the production team's idea, you know, stuff of that nature?
Yeah. So, the whole video was just kind of, it was me and then the main guy of the group that I worked with. They're called Unwanted. They're a very talented group of rappers. And they have like a main kind of head of the group. So me and him kind of like collaborated a little bit in coming up with this idea. But to be honest, it was super fluid. Like we had just kind of this like idea of, okay, we're going to go out on the road, we're going to do that, and then we're going to go and have like a little party scene afterwards. But a lot of it was just kind of improv. Like we were just kind of doing whatever we wanted to do, like on the side of the road, and just kind of, you know, having fun. And the woman who recorded the video was super awesome, and she was super nice too. So it was really fun. Like we were just kind of having fun and like doing whatever, and like it just came together in such a beautiful way. So yeah, there was you know, a lot of people who like came to watch and be there. So it was such a good energy, and everybody was like really like vibing and having fun. So yeah, it was just fun. It was fun.
Yeah, and that definitely shows through on the video, where it's like there's an essence of randomness to the video, which really works, but everybody's just like authentically there because they want to be there and they're just having fun. So which was really cool. And you know, just when you're able to like really capture that on camera and just like, okay, these are like the points we want to hit, but in between there, point A and point B, do whatever you want, or like make it look as natural as you want. That's always really cool when somebody kind of gives that freedom. So
that was exactly how it was, like word for word.
Nice. So that music video has been out for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And how's the obviously it was fun enough that I think you're going to do a second music video, or is that still kind of in the works?
Hopefully eventually. I mean, I don't have anything like planned as of now, but obviously I would love to do another music video because that was so fun. And like, I feel like personally, that's the best way for me to kind of like be myself, because, you know, you're singing your own music while you're kind of acting and, you know, being yourself and, you know, doing whatever you want to do on camera. And it just always ends up in such a like amazing way, and it's just like, you know, one of the best parts of doing music in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get to what's going on the rest of the year, let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about your creative process and how you go about writing music. Obviously, since you just kind of went through 2021, releasing a whole bunch of music, I'm sure you're kind of back in the process of writing.
Sure.
What is that? What does that process look like to you? Are you more dialed in? Like, are you able to sit down and say, I've got 4 hours, let's do this? Or are you driving down the freeway and it's like, oh, Red Ferrari, that's a song.
Yeah, yep, that's how it is. Driving down the freeway and just kind of like stuff's popping in my head kind of a deal. Yeah, there'll be a lot of times where I'll just like wake up in the middle of the night and like write down random lyrics. Like
Yeah.
I have a list in my phone of just like possible lyrics and stuff. A lot of the times for like a song, I will kind of have an idea of what I want it to be or what I want it to sound like. And then I'll, kind of shape the lyrics around that. But I find the beat choice to be very, very important when it comes to the song, because if you don't have the correct beat that matches, the lyrics and the way you want to portray whatever message you're trying to portray, it's just not going to come out the way that it should. And so I kind of have to, I find it more difficult to write the lyrics and then find a beat afterwards. I have to kind of do it all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like time, how long it takes, it's very random. Like
Yeah.
I would not be able to sit down and be like, I need this amount of time to do this. Like it just has to happen the way it's going to happen. And a lot of the times I'll write a song and then I'll go to record it like however long or later I'll do that. And then I'll be like, how did I even write this? Like, where did this even come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like super random, but yeah, it always ends up coming together somehow, which I'm like very amazed about. But
yeah, you hit on something very interesting there about how the length and time it takes you to actually put a song together kind of varies, which I think is something that a lot of musicians don't talk about, because you go into like, there'll be like a situation where you go into like a record label or whatever, and they're saying, we need a new song in 6 months or a new album in 6 months. But a lot of musicians, they can't just spit out music like that in 6 months, like whether it's lack of inspiration or whatever it is. So the fact that you're kind of in a position right now where you could just say, hey, I've got an idea for a song, but it's not done yet. I don't know when it's going to be done, but when it's done, it'll be amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it enjoy that while you're on the independent level, because as you climb up the ranks, the demands for more and more music quicker and quicker, it's gonna get interesting. But
oh yeah, that's why I got that whole list of lyrics on my phone. So I'm like, if I need an idea, I got like a million ideas, and I can kind of like not force myself to like figure it out, but you know what I mean? Like I'll get it done.
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of speaking on that. What do you have coming up in 2022? What are you actively doing shows? What's your release schedule looking like? That was a lot of questions at once. So
it's all good. Yeah, so I'm super excited because I'm actually working on my first album right now.
Nice.
Which is, it's just kind of like this album, it's super short, but it's really just, the quality is there with all of the songs. Like I really made sure that all of the lyrics kind of tie together and tell a really nice fluid story throughout every single song. It means so much to me. Like I really put my heart into this. It's called Heart Expansion. So there you go. Yeah. I really did put my heart into it. But yeah, it's gonna be coming out. I mean, I don't have a specific date yet because I'm still kind of like working on everything. But it should be out sometime in May or June or summertime, more towards the summertime. But I am currently working with a extremely talented producer. Her name is Vanessa Silberman, and we've been going kind of like back and forth with mixing, and I record the vocals here, I send them to her, and then she works on it, she sends it back to me, I work on it, kind of that thing. And it's just been an amazing process because it's the first time where I've ever really had like a schedule. Because as you know, as I mentioned before, it's just kind of like free flowing, like, oh, I'll do it whenever I do it. But now it's kind of like, okay, I'll do it whenever I do it, but I need it to be done at like a specific time, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been super cool working with her and, you know, just kind of experiencing like really getting into that like professional mindset of, okay, this is becoming, you know, more than just a hobby. But yeah, I'm so excited for the album. It's just like, it's my heart. It's my soul. Like everything, all of my words are just kind of like my stories being told in that album. And, you know, I'm really excited for people to listen to it. I think it's going to be kind of a new chapter for me. So yeah.
Cool. Are any of the songs that you, or the singles that you've released since your debut EP, are they going to be on the album, or are they just kind of standalone projects?
They're all just standalone projects. This is going to be a whole new bunch of songs. So
Nice. How did you kind of select the songs? Did you specifically write for the idea of an album, or were you just kind of writing and it's like, oh, hey, these could be an album?
I just kind of like, you know, started writing, and they were just, I mean, some of the songs I was thinking at the beginning that I was just going to release them as the next single or whatever. But then, you know, one song started to tie into the next song, started to tie into the next song. And then I was like, okay, we're going to make this into a whole album, because I haven't done a full collection of works before. I've just kind of done like, you know, little EP, little singles, little music video here and there. But this is really like, you know, that whole kind of process put together. So it's definitely going to be something different, but something I'm really excited about.
For sure. For sure. You know, it's all like, I guess technically it's going to be a full length album, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So technically, I guess this is your debut album, even though you've already released your EP. Like some people don't distinguish a difference between the two, but it's like, if we want to get technical, this is your debut album. So that's got to be pretty exciting. How's the how long have you been working on this album? Was it like right as Secret kind of came out, or were you working on this way before that?
Yeah, actually, I would say that's pretty, since last year, at least, I've been writing for the album. Physically recording and working on it, it's been about 3 months. So, you know, that's how long I've been kind of like doing the more like scheduled professional type situation. But writing for it, I was literally just looking at like one of the songs that I wrote, and it was like last year, like, I don't know, like January of last year. So yeah, it's been like about a year that I've been working on it.
That's cool. Honestly, that's quite a quick turnaround, especially given that you're still so young in the game. You know, it's amazing. I'm really looking forward to the album. And you said that'll be out May, June, basically right around the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously I'll definitely update on social media and stuff like that as it comes more along. But for now, roughly, we're looking at summertime. Cool. So yeah.
Are you going to drop a single off it, or are you just going to drop the full album when it's ready?
Just doing the full album when it's ready. I'm just going to hit hard with all of it.
Sweet. And so do you have any shows starting to line up now that the pandemic is kind of, I don't know what it's like out in Pennsylvania, but are you actively doing shows or?
So I will tell you a secret. I have never done any kind of live performance before. When I was little, I did talent shows, but I have never done any kind of like singing my own music in front of an audience, which is like, it's honestly a dream to me, the idea of getting to do that. And so I'm really excited to one day get to do that and get to share my music like as myself instead of just like on a computer, you know? So
Well, to be fair, for your genre, like for the genre of pop music, it's kind of hard to do that music in a coffee shop. Like when you look at like a lot of singer-songwriters and it's just them by themselves, they can go pop up at a coffee shop and it's like they're good. From my angle, it seems like you would need a little bit more production behind it.
Sure. Yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
something going. So hopefully one day you'll get there and be able to go to a nightclub or, like
Yeah.
whatever the venue may be out there in Pennsylvania. So that's got to be pretty exciting.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I want a whole show. If I'm gonna do a show, I want a production. That's what's gonna
yeah,
happen.
understood. Gotcha. So just kind of outside of music, now that you're got your most recent single out, you're working towards the EP or the full length album. Sorry about that. What do you kind of do to escape from everything? What are some of your hobbies?
Yeah, for sure. So recently I have been really practicing like a little bit more of like mindfulness because it gets super stressful when you're just kind of like I mean, I'll just be going for days. Like I'll wake up, I'll work on, whatever, I'll record, then I'll edit for hours, and then I'll like take a break here and there to eat, and then I'll work until like freaking 3 a.m, and then go back to sleep and do it all over again. So it's like you need a break day. You need a day to really just kind of like unwind and care for yourself. So I'm super into like health, self-care. Like I love to, go outside. I'm a huge nature person, and with Pennsylvania, like there's so much beautiful nature here for, you to explore. So I'm always outside, and I'm playing with my pets. I have some beautiful animals at home, so I play with them, and I spend a lot of time with my boyfriend and my family, and I try and make that work-life balance really there, just because it's difficult when you're, especially with music, it's such a fluid kind of a thing, and you have to really be in the correct mindset to want to do these, kind of things and have that emotion come out when you're recording and trying to portray that. So, yeah, it's a lot of self-care. It's a lot of, makeup, stuff like that. I like that too, just kind of like pampering myself and taking myself out, on little dates and stuff. So
For sure. Can I take a shot in the dark that you're into astrology, given the poster behind you?
Oh, how'd you know?
Well, there's a poster behind you that has.
Yes, I am into astrology.
Okay. I was sitting here, I was like, all right, that says zodiac, unless she's not in her room or a room that she frequents. I'm going to just take a shot in the dark. So.
Oh yeah, I also have my little crystals right next to me too. So I'm a little woohooey with that, but
Hey, it's all good. So what advice do you have? Like, since you're going through the early stages of your career, what advice do you have for the young musicians out there that are just getting ready to like make that first step or that next step in their career?
For sure. I definitely think, my best advice would be, if nobody is kind of supporting you or believing in you or just kind of like there to hold your hand throughout the whole process, you kind of just have to like get into it yourself and really take charge of your own life and be like, okay, I want to do this. This is how I'm going to get it done. And like, if I don't have the whole village around me cheering me on, that's okay, because it's something that you want to do and something that you're passionate about. And I think that a lot of people can become discouraged because they don't get that, like feedback that they were always hoping for and wanting for. And I can definitely, agree with that. At the beginning stages, like it was kind of crickets, you know what I mean? And so it can be discouraging because you see, especially since social media is so, prominent with everybody like sharing their journeys and how they're just kind of like seemingly popping off in 2 seconds. And it's just like, it doesn't really work like that, to be honest. You have to put a lot of hard work and effort into it. And so I guess my best advice for people would just be, if you really love it and if it's really bringing you the joy that, that you deserve, then just keep going with it, because like eventually it will become something and you will find your way.
Yeah.
So.
And I would also say something that you think isn't good now gets better with practice. Like that's one thing. That's one thing that I hear from musicians all the time.
Yeah.
Is, oh, I don't think I'm that good. Well, practice.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of times where I was like messing with Pro Tools and stuff, and like at the beginning, and I almost gave up literally
Yeah.
because I was like, I can't even get the damn thing to open. And so like I was like, I don't know how I can do this. I don't know if I waste money like trying to figure this out? Like, should I just go back to the studio kind of a deal?
Yeah.
But it's literally just like practice, and
Yeah.
eventually it's gonna become like second nature to you, you know? And yeah.
Yeah. You found out, or you were having a hard time getting Pro Tools to open, and you thought it was you, but then took you 2 minutes to figure out, nope, it's just Pro Tools.
Yeah, literally. That's literally how it is.
Yep. I have the same issue with my DAW. I use Adobe Audition, and it's just like, man, is it me or is this thing just rough? And it was really rough.
I
So
know. I would literally be like, because the main problem I was having was I would record a whole song and then I would go to reopen it and it just would not open again. Like it would just straight up be like, okay, nothing happened here. And I was like, I just recorded this entire song and there's nothing here. Yeah, once you figure it out, you'll get the hang of it.
Gotcha. Well, it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, which we have a random question generator. So I'm going to rapid fire off some of these questions and you just kind of answer.
That's fun.
We're going to do about 10. We'll see how wordy some of these questions can get.
Sounds good.
All right. What's a thing from 10 years ago that if you brought up to your friend group, they'd say, hey, I forgot that was a thing that existed?
Oh my God. Shit. I'm bad at this. The silly bands.
Okay, perfect. How late did you stay up last night?
Until 1. Until 1.
Okay. If you inherit an island, what would you name it?
Moonlight Island.
Do you believe in ghosts? Why or why not?
Yes, I'm spiritual, so I believe in the good and the bad.
What's something that your parents taught you at a young age that you will remember forever?
I would say, dang, I'm a really slow thinker. I would say, I guess, don't take things for granted. That's for damn sure.
Okay. If you could name yourself, what would your name be?
Anisha Labelle? I don't know. Is that
if you could if you could change your name?
If I could change my name, I don't want to change my name. I like my name exactly the way it is.
Okay. If you were ever thrown in jail, what would it be for?
Oh, am I allowed to say what I would actually say?
Go for it. Whatever you want to say, go for it.
You know, Mary Jane. I'll just say it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. If a complete stranger randomly texted you and asked for advice, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to breathe and take it day by day.
Gotcha. If you had one wish, what would it be?
Peace in every situation that I find myself in.
Then final question, pineapple pizza, yes or no?
No way, Jose.
I just threw that one in there because I like to be controversial like that. I
don't know who in their right mind said that was a good idea, but they're just wrong. And I don't. What's your opinion on that? Are you pineapple pizza?
Hell no. Oh hell no.
Okay, good. I'm glad we agree.
Oh no. I'm from Chicago. If you put pineapple on your pizza, they will run you out of the city.
It's just like I don't know where that came from, but I'm not a fan.
I've noticed though that a lot of like coastal and southern people enjoy it, which is weird, but
I could see that. I mean, they're nice and sweet and fruity, so you know.
Yeah, gotcha.
Props to them.
For sure, for sure. But it's been an absolute blast chatting with you. I've really enjoyed our time together. If people want to check out the new album when it drops, or any of your current stuff, or just interact with you on social, where's the best place to do that?
You can check me out on Instagram. My name is just Anisha Labelle. So you can go ahead and search that up. I also have a YouTube channel as well, which is also Anisha Labelle. And then on both of those, you can find all my direct links to my music. So yeah, you can check me out on all that stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Is Facebook going away? Because I've started to notice a lot of musicians don't even keep up with their Facebook.
I don't have a Facebook. I never had a Facebook. So I guess that's just kind of like my generation just doesn't really like mess with Facebook that much. But it's all good. We got the Instagram. So
I've had to start using Instagram more because I'm missing like a whole side of the market. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, it's
a huge market. So never forget about Instagram. She's a good one.
Yeah. Nope, I never do. And actually, I've been getting into Twitter a lot recently. For whatever reason, just Twitter's kind of been coming up, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. So
yeah, no, Twitter is good. There's sorry to keep you on for one more second, but there's a funny quote that I said. I've never used Twitter, but I think it was on South Park that I heard this, where they were like, if you're not a celebrity or the president, nobody cares if you use Twitter. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just not going to use Twitter then. That's
funny. The reason that I like Twitter is because you kind of get the up to moment feel of what's going on in the world. Like there's so much stuff that I've learned about from Twitter, just kind of being active on Twitter and having some alerts turned on. It's like, oh crap, what's this going on? And then, then I went in and dove deeper in on the topic. So it's interesting. But
the definition of instant gratification.
Well, and just having the information, like just getting alerted, like, because I work in the news business, so just kind of having that information there at the ready. It's like, oh wait, who got shot? What? And
oh God, yeah, you're right. That's true though, and that's probably super helpful for you.
Yeah,
in everything that you do. So.
And actually, just kind of one more thing: the social media platform that I've really been into and kind of starting to see a lot of results from is LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
It's not the job. Like, I mean, it's still very much a professional platform, but just kind of like, as long as you represent yourself professionally and you're not posting, hey, I got wasted on Friday night, you're going to be all right on LinkedIn. So it's really cool and really interesting. And I've met a lot of industry professionals through LinkedIn that kind of get me somewhere. So
I might have to check out LinkedIn then.
Yeah, it's definitely a spot to be. But once again, I want to thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. It's been an absolute blast. Whenever you're ready to come back on, feel free to reach out. And I think I follow you on Instagram. If not, I've got it open and I'll follow you right after this. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you grow in your career and just kind of where you end up as you kind of move out of Pennsylvania into your next adventures and just kind of naturally progress. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This was amazing. I really enjoyed talking to you. This was like the chillest interview ever. So thank you. It was great.
I try not to be too intense. Like, I've had some people like, you're not going to ask me like a bunch of gotcha questions. And it's like, no, like what kind of gotcha questions should I be prepared to ask? And they're like, nope, forget I said anything. And I'm like, all right, that's weird, but
you're like, okay, cool. Sounds good.
So, but once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will be back later this afternoon with another podcast.